Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is gonna be a little different because we're doing an art haul. I actually don't do these very much on my channel, but something I have been doing a lot is asking you to vote on videos on my community tab. I usually put like 4 video ideas that I want to do up, and then you vote, and then I choose that one. And the art haul won by a landslide. So I'm just gonna show you some new stuff that I got lately. If you're somebody who wonders about the supplies that I use, this video will probably help you out quite a bit because my favorites are in here, a lot of my favorites. And then there's a couple, experimental things. So with that being said, I think we should just get started and I will hop into this. Now the first thing I'm gonna show you is something that I bought, I think about 2 years ago. This is something that I put in this box for myself of new supplies that I reward myself with if I hit a goal or if I have a rough week or something. And this is one of the only supplies that are left in this box that I have not used. But they are these really cool crayon pencils. They're called, it just says Stabilo Woody 3-in-1. I don't really know what that means, but I do think we should test them in this video. Okay, so the next thing I got is this really cool Uniball gold metallic gel pen. I'm really excited to try this because I love my gold leaf marker. So if this is anything like my gold leaf marker, you know I'm gonna be excited. Now the next thing I'm gonna show you is my tried and true favorite. It is my art baby. It is my absolute favorite art supply, and I think it's uncommon for this sort of thing to be somebody's favorite art supply, but I can't help it. I love it so much. You have probably seen me rave about this in so many videos by now, but it is the ampersand gesso board. I also use their clay board, which is a little bit smoother. It is wonderful for oil painting, but I like this for my little acrylic painting studies. And I just ran out of it, so I got some more. Also, if you wanna know where I get most of these supplies, I am not sponsored, but shout out to Blix. That's my favorite place to order from. They just have lots of options and a lot of professional quality art supplies. The next art supply I am so excited about. And Jazza actually had this in one of his boxes. And my husband is using it because he was so excited about it. And if you don't know, my husband paints a lot of Dungeons and Dragons minis. He's actually a phenomenal artist. So yeah, we bond over art and have lots of painting dates at our dining room table. Anyway, it is a Stay Wet palette. I decided to get this because, well, I will reveal the reason later in the video. It basically keeps your paints wet. There's a little lid on it and stuff. I'll open it up for you and we'll set it up together. Oh my goodness. I also have had this art supply for 2 years and I keep losing them, but I found them and I got them on clearance, and that's the only reason why I bought them. So I'm really excited for these. I think I might use them for signing prints or, I don't know, decorating shoes, some sort of fun crafty thing. I really just like the fact that they're fine tip though. That's what brought me to them. And the color selection here is just really pretty. Okay, now we're getting to the good stuff and I can't wait to show it to you. So first of all, I just needed more phthalo blue for my paintings. I've been doing a lot of acrylic paintings this year and blowing through paint, especially blue, because I paint a lot of water, so had to get more. And if you wanna know what my favorite acrylic paint is, yes, it is this. Let's talk paintbrushes now, because every time I either go to Blix or buy online, I for some reason always look at paintbrushes. Do any of you guys do that too? You get really caught up feeling them all, or online just comparing them all? I do that quite a bit. The Princeton Dakota line here is, I would say, one of my favorite paintbrushes at the moment. Right now, I would say these are my all-time favorite brushes because they work so well on that gesso board that I mentioned earlier. But I also love these red short-handled ones. They are the Princeton Velvet Touch brushes. I was actually introduced to these ones from a palette full packs box, and I've just been hooked ever since. Now this next art supply, I'm actually like really excited about. However, I think I'm going to do a giveaway and give it to one of you because I don't want to leave you out of this art haul. I want you to kind of feel like you're a part of it. And I'm a smaller YouTuber. I can't do like huge giveaways, but I thought it would be cool to include this art supply and some merch from my store. This is a Stillman and Burn sketchbook. It looks so nice. It has a nice feel to it. And it's for pen, ink, dry media, and light wash. I think it's a really, really nice looking sketchbook. And as I said, I love the way it feels. And I just want to include you guys in this haul. So yeah, I will be hosting this giveaway over on Instagram. My handle is mirabyler, so you can check the post to find out how to enter. And there will be fun merch from my shop that you can win along with this sketchbook. I'm really excited about it. One of the things I'm gonna give away with it is my pencil case here. And as I said, this giveaway is on Instagram only. Sorry, I'm not making exceptions if you don't have Instagram. This is just the way it is. Okay, so the last things that I got in this haul are really exciting to me. And this is the reason why I got the Stay Wet palette. I got a bunch of new Holbein acrylic gouache paints. Most of the colors that I already had were like really earthy, and I wanted some like bright ones because spring is coming and who knows what I'm gonna paint, you know? And I was also out of white, so I couldn't really do any paintings until I got more white. Anyway, that's the haul portion of this video, but now it's time to put some of these supplies to the test. So let's do some fun art, yeah? The first thing I'm doing is setting up this Stay Wet palette. Now this thing is notorious for keeping your paint wet for hours and even up to weeks. So these things are amazing. Let's open it up. You can see here there's this paper, and underneath is the sponge that keeps that paper and your paints wet. So to set this up, you soak the top layer of paper for about 15 minutes. There is a shortcut option if you lack patience, but I decided to do it the long way. I soaked my sponge and then I put it in the palette. And then after that paper here was done soaking, I took it out of the water and added it to the palette too. And now we're ready to set up the paints. I decided to add all my colors because I was feeling overly enthusiastic. I'm gonna leave it sit for a little bit and then we'll revisit this part later. Okay, so for the first thing, I think I actually want to bust out my own sketchbook here and use those Stabilo drawing utensils, whatever you want to call them. Honestly, if I had to guess, I would say this is probably like a crayon meets an oil pastel meets a colored pencil, because it says 3-in-1, so I don't know. I dropped one. Let's just see what's going down. Okay, we have our little sketchbook here. Let's find a page that has not been used yet. These are, cute little chunks. I like it. All right, these things are very cute. Let's do like a little swatch test up top. Whoa, that is not what I expected. They feel very much like an oil pastel, but there's something about them that's different. And I think they're not as smeary. I don't know. Well, let's doodle some cute things. stinking cute. All right, let's do another one. Okay, so this one is going to be heavily inspired by my Animal Crossing character. I just think these colors fit that cute illustration style so well. We'll add my own little twist on it though. This doesn't look exactly like my character. Oh, my mouth is not like that. Oh. She looks like a scarecrow. So, confession time. I am actually not a fan of like oil pastels. A lot of you guys actually request that I use them in videos, and I never do because it's like a sensory thing. It just doesn't mix well with me. There are like certain sensory things that like really give me the hibby-jibbies, and that's one of them. However, this art supply here, it's kind of like a crayon. I was right about that, but it does feel a little oil pastel-y and a little bit like a colored pencil, which is exactly what I predicted. And I was kind of afraid that I wouldn't like it because of the oil pastel feeling. I think since I only have 3 colors, I don't really need to try to blend or anything. So because of that, I'm cool with it, you know, as long as I don't have to touch it, because that's where I get the hibby-jibbies. Does anybody else have that issue, or am I just weird? I'm really enjoying this. It's kind of relaxing just to do little doodles like this with this material. I wish I had more colors though, like purple and stuff, because I feel like there isn't a whole lot I can do with just 3 colors. Anyway, here's how it turned out. Let's test out that Stay Wet palette now. I am so excited for this. The paints have been sitting and waiting for about 45 minutes, so that'll be nice just to see if it bleeds and stuff like that. The directions did actually say that darker colors tend to bleed, so I'm not worried about it. I kind of expect it. We'll see. Moment of truth, let's open her up. Ooh, they did actually bleed a little bit, but to be expected. I'm cool with it. All right, we have a fun little piece of paper here. All right, I actually found a really cool reference photo that I think I want to use. It's kind of weird, like mixing on paper. I would say so far, so good. My only thought so far is this is probably better for smaller scale projects, like painting miniatures, because I'm blowing through paint just like I would any other time, but you know. Okay, so this piece is gonna be kind of like a fall scene, I guess you could say. And there's a lot of like fun layering to this. So I'm gonna start just building up the background. You know how sometimes when you're working on a painting for a long time, some of your colors start to develop that film on the outside because it's drying? Well, I'm at the point where I would usually expect to see a film forming, especially with the paints that I'm currently using. And guys, there is no film. So this is exciting. I am really liking this palette so far. I'm very glad I got it. That's all I have to say. So I really liked this reference photo just because the colors were so unique. Like every time I see pictures of inside of a forest, it's either all green, you know, or with fall, it's like all the yellowy leaves. But this one is like the red leaves. And I just think that's sweet. I just had an interesting bout of inspiration, and in this little tub are actually old art supplies. So I don't know, I'm just kind of going with what I'm feeling here, but it would be really fun to take this bright red fluid acrylic for the front layers of the leaves, which means the rest of the painting will be matte because it's acrylic gouache. However, this fluid acrylic will be glossy, and I think it will look so cool, like when the light changes and you see some glossiness, but most of the painting is matte. I love experimenting with that, so let's just do it. Not really sure what will come of this, but hopefully cool things, you know? I'm gonna do some like yellowish accents, especially on the ground. All right, this is how it turned out. All right, honestly, these things are awesome. I love this. I think this is one of those like underrated art supplies that doesn't get talked about very much, but lately they're getting some attention. I'm just really glad I gave it a try. This is gonna help my flow so much later down the road, and it's gonna save me a lot of money on paint. So that's great. I actually have a palette that's similar to this that I use for my acrylic paints, and there's no like sponge or paper on the bottom. It's just you have a lid and you put it on top. And that works amazingly too. This is how the piece turned out, and the entire time I was working on it, I was just like, this is not coming to life, you know? But then once I added this older art supply, this fluid acrylic, I was really happy with it. I don't actually have primary red with my acrylic gouache, so I guess I should have bought that for this haul, but that's okay. This was all over the place. We experimented, we had fun. I hope you enjoyed this video. If there's something in here that I didn't use that you would like me to see, comment down below and let me know. Also, don't forget, I'm giving away this sketchbook and then some of my own merch from mirabyler.com over on my Instagram. The handle is right up here, mirabyler. I will be giving away this pencil case, probably some washi tapes, stickers, enamel pins. It's gonna be big. This is my thank you for supporting me and my channel. And yeah, there's only one winner, but in my book, you're all winners. So yeah, I love you guys. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week in another video. Bye guys.